What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 89 of the Bros Talking Soccer Podcast. My name is Dave Knittel. I'm here with my two brothers, Christian and Matt, to discuss stories from around the soccer world. Christian, hello.
Hello, David.
Matthew, hello.
Hello.
All right, people of YouTube, hello as
Oh,
well.
we're thinking. Oh, well, we fell down.
We have Christian's dealing with some technical issues. People of YouTube, please feel free to interact with us as we go along here. We have the chat feature up in the background, and it's just going to be a fun show. A little throwback. I'm going to play host, I think, throughout the entire episode because Christian and Matt were a little busy this week. And so,
Probably because this is Dave's podcast.
Yeah, well, that too, obviously. I mean, this is my
Me and
podcast.
Christian are planning on releasing our own podcast in the future. You updated.
Yeah, what's
the
it called?
Real Bros. The
It's
Real
called,
Bros. Bros trying hot sauces, actually. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. You gotta, when I come home in a couple weeks, I gotta bring that home for you.
Yeah. Are you coming home for when I'm there?
Yeah, it's your birthday and Audrey's sister's birthday, and you have the same birthday. So I'm going so I'm going in the city with them.
Yeah,
Nice.
so he's actually not going to see you on your birthday. He's actually just going to see you.
Well, we should play foot golf one day, all of us, and put it on Instagram.
Thanks.
Follow us.
Thank you for inviting me. That was really, really nice.
I'll
Yeah,
clear
what do you
my
mean?
schedule.
I said we all should. I said we all, Christian.
He did.
Yeah.
I understood. You didn't invite me last time.
Last time
Is
you were
what
at
I'm
work.
referring to.
People on YouTube don't need to hear air our laundry, but follow us on Instagram. We'll post our Instagram story for all of that, guys. I think we're ready to jump into this podcast. So, are you excited?
Very.
Yeah, super. I've never been more excited.
All right. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 89 of the Bros Talking Soccer Podcast. My name is Dave Knittel, and I am joined by my two brothers, Christian and Matt Knittel, to discuss stories from around the soccer world. Christian, hello. How are you doing today?
Hello, David. I'm doing just dandy. Got home from Penn State this morning. Went to watch the game yesterday against Appalachian State, and that was a rough one emotionally. It was a pretty draining day, but Liverpool won. The Union kind of blew their late goal where they should have won, but good day overall in sports, I guess, for me as a fan. And yeah, just, powering through another day here.
Yeah, super high energy from you. I feel it. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Dave. Great weekend, like Christian said. I mean, the Penn State game was a close one, but we won, so that's all that matters. Got to drink a little bit this weekend. Christian came up and visited me up at Penn State, so it was a good weekend.
I didn't see Matt drink anything. I don't know what he's talking about.
No.
I've never drank anything in my life.
Mm-mm.
Yep, that is very true. Guys, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. I'm in the middle of detox, so haven't had any solid food in about a day and a half, so I'm a little bit low energy and looking forward to tomorrow when I can start eating. But beyond that, I mean, Christian said it. I support all the same teams you support. It's been a pretty good sporting weekend, and weather's fantastic out here, and I am ready to podcast.
Wait, you don't eat anything during a detox?
So we have these, so the detox we're doing, we get these shakes or whatever. So we blend up spinach, some strawberries, and then this whatever powder that we put in there. And so we have 4 of those per day for the first 2 days, and then we can start eating solid foods on the other days. So that's a little peek behind the curtain in Dave's life. But Christian, do you have a trivia question for us?
Wait, don't you want to tell everybody that you washed your hair this week?
Oh yeah. So I hadn't washed my hair since, I don't know, March or April. Just seeing, I rinse it every time I shower, but I don't use shampoo or whatever. So so I shampooed and conditioned, and
looking luscious, Dave.
It's feeling good. Yeah. Christian, do you have our trivia question?
I do have a trivia question. Do you guys know who has the least expensive ticket to a Premier League game and who has the most expensive ticket to a Premier League game?
All right.
Which team?
Ooh, this is fun. Okay, so we will think on that. Listeners, you will think on it as well, and we will reveal the answer as well as our guesses at the end of the episode. We are doing a little throwback episode here. I'm going to play host throughout this episode, and so let's kick things off with our first section. Welcome to Dave's Part 1. Rayo
Welcome to
Vallecano.
Dave's podcast.
Yes.
Podcast.
Rayo Vallecano Stadium has been condemned, or not condemned, but it's closed until October 15th. The La Liga season literally just started, and apparently there was like a hole that a child fell through in the stadium. The stands were bouncing, and just all kinds of issues with the stadium. Christian, your thoughts on this stadium basically just not being in shape to have professional soccer being played there?
Well, first of all, I was reading that article and I saw he fell through some gate, I guess. I don't really understand how that wasn't bigger news somewhere else. Like I haven't heard anything about that, and it seems like a pretty serious thing for a 4-year-old to fall through a gate at a stadium. But back to the main topic. What? This makes me concerned for La Liga in general. Why is their FA not inspecting every single stadium before the start of a season? I feel like that should be part of the guidelines before a season starts, especially for a new club coming up who they haven't looked at in at least a year, probably 2 at the minimum, because they may have gone down and come back up. So that's really concerning. I think they should be checking every stadium within their federation, not just in the top level of La Liga, but probably everywhere. That is very concerning. And the fact that they played a game there already and then realized there's dangers is really, really terrifying for fans. And I'm glad that they caught it now before something very, very serious could have happened, because their stadium could have collapsed and the hundreds of people could have been seriously injured or worse.
Matt, thoughts on this situation?
Yeah, I just can't believe that. Like, I agree with Christian. I can't believe that either the league's not responsible for not checking before the season started, or that the club doesn't have somebody checking before the season started. Like, this is something that seems pretty simple for a professional sports team at, the highest level in that country to, just get away with. In high school, at one of our football games, we broke the bleachers, and that was pretty baffling that our high school hadn't checked, to make sure our bleachers were safe. And going into the professional level, it's just something I would never expect to even happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And Real Valladolid had a bunch of issues with their stadium turf when Barcelona played there last week, and they were a newly promoted team too. So, Christian, you were bringing up, I don't know how these newly promoted teams aren't given almost an additional level of inspection because they're new to the league. It really doesn't make sense to me. Christian, anything else you wanted to add here?
Yeah, I just feel like this should have been bigger news. I know I didn't really hear about it until you mentioned the topic. That is very concerning. And I've never heard this actually happen anywhere else. I know there's been like stadium collapses. Most of that hasn't happened in a long, long time now. And I think that because of what's happened in the past, specifically, like you think back to Hillsborough and stuff that happened there, how do you not review these types of things before a season starts? Because they could have possibly, their club could have just blown up. They could have lost everything if anything happened. And that is just, I'm scared that this happens in other leagues now. How do you not check?
It's a giant administrative failure. I think we can agree on that. Matt, anything else you want to add?
No, I think you guys covered it.
All right, cool. Next thing we wanted to talk about is Bastian Schweinsteiger had a testimonial at Bayern Munich in the middle of the MLS season. So Chicago Fire is not having a particularly good season, but on top of it, they flew the entire team across the world, basically, to Munich. I think it was midweek, wasn't it? Or was it? It was midweek to play this testimonial match for Bastian Schweinsteiger, who is, albeit a Bayern legend, and he deserves the testimonial. But what do you think about MLS and specifically the Chicago Fire doing this in the middle of their season? Matt, your thoughts here?
Yeah, so it's unfortunate as an MLS fan to see our league be an afterthought, but I somewhat like how the league understands his career, his legacy, and everything he went through, and being able for him to go over and allow this to happen, to go to his home club, to play his testimonial, and probably the only time of the year that this could have happened. That's the only reason why I'm fine with it. But for a professional perspective, this shouldn't be allowed. The club shouldn't technically allow this. Is he retiring at the end of the year?
I don't know if that's confirmed yet, even.
I feel like it would make more sense if he was retiring at the end of the year, for Chicago Fire to be okay, it's towards the end of the season. We're not having a great year. This is okay, but it's tough to see as like a soccer MLS guy to just be like, okay, we accept that we're just a second thought to these players.
Got it. Christian, your thoughts here?
That last point that Matt just made is exactly what I was going to highlight. If we want to be taken seriously as a league to European or other parts of the world, you can't let your best players just leave. And I completely understand that he is one of the few, I think, current players that are Bayern Munich legends. He's from Germany. He played there for a really long time. But you can't just leave your league in the middle of the season. I know Chicago Fire are not playing well, but he just is like, all right, well, I got this going on over here, so I'm just going to leave you guys for a little bit, and you'll figure it out.
This was also, like, planned. So, like, yes, Chicago is not having a good year, but this had to have been planned well before Chicago was not. Like, what if Chicago was contending for the Supporters' Shield or something like that? You know, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I don't think that he's treating it like how we kind of feared that's how Europeans see us and how they really do. They see us as a second-rate league where they come to retire and they don't take it seriously, which is they're coming here to collect a paycheck, and it's really unfortunate that that's how it's being viewed. But I know not everyone feels that way. But this specifically makes it look exactly like that and is really bad publicity.
All right, fair enough. I mean, in fairness, like, a lot of these Chicago Fire players will never get to play at the Allianz, and so this is a really interesting, awesome opportunity for them. I just think, I don't know, it was kind of jammed midweek. I don't know if they could have done it maybe at like the international break, but then I guess all the Bayern players are not going to be there. I don't know. I just feel like the timing could have been a little bit better, but you know, it is what it is. I don't think it reflects particularly well on MLS, but I understand that he gets a testimonial, but why does it have to be before he's retired? Like, I don't know. I don't know if they could have worked out something where maybe it was right after he retired. I mean, Bundesliga has a winter break. Could they have done it then? But then I guess MLS is in the offseason. I don't know when the timing would have worked. But, you know, it was a cool opportunity for the Chicago Fire players. But again, I don't think it reflects well on MLS. Matt, anything else you wanted to add here?
Yeah, I just want to agree with that point. Like, if it's after he retires or like shortly after he retires, I would get the match. But I like I said earlier, I didn't realize that he hadn't announced retirement yet.
Christian, any other thoughts here?
Nope.
All right, cool. You're going to hear a little bit of music and a partner announcement, and then we will be back to talk in segment 2. All right, cool. So let me give a quick plug for Stadium Scene. What's up, everybody? Dave here, giving a quick plug for our partner, StadiumScene.tv. If you are going to a stadium in the US or Canada, you want to go check out StadiumScene.tv to figure out where to park, how to get to the stadium, bars and restaurants to check out before and after the game that you are attending. It's all sports stadiums, not specific to soccer. In addition to that, Stadium Scene partners with content creators like us at Bros Talking Soccer to put out podcasts, YouTube videos, blog posts, and more. Go check out StadiumScene.tv to check out our content and others. Again, all different kinds of sports, not just soccer, but support us and support them. We'd appreciate it. Now, back to me. All right. That was cool.
Oh,
I don't know.
my God.
I don't know how that's going to sound.
So lame. Back to me.
How do you want? Yeah. All right. You want to do the next one?
No.
Okay. That's what I thought.
I got another beer if you guys were wondering.
Okay. I was
nice.
I was wondering.
So what are you at this point?
What am
You're
I
running
at?
low?
Yeah, you said you were going to drink 2 or 3 this episode.
I just finished one, and I was about like halfway done the second. So
nice. All right. So we're on a good path. We're at a good pace.
9.5 from the day.
What?
Nice. He got up and started drinking for the Arsenal match.
Yeah, with the Jacks. He's an Arsenal guy, so I got there at like the 20th minute.
YOLO. College, right?
Yeah, I remember.
Been?
Yeah. All right. We ready? We're going to do Dempsey's retirement and then life in the lower tier of U.S. soccer. Ready?
I am so ready. Let's go. Let's do it.
Matt looks ready. Well, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to part 2. First topic we want to talk about here, U.S. men's national team legend Clint Dempsey recently announced his retirement pretty abruptly and suddenly. I don't know if anybody had thought it was going to come, especially in the middle of the MLS season. Christian, your thoughts on Dempsey's, announcement and just his career in general?
It was a little weird. I didn't expect it at all whatsoever in the middle of the season, but honestly, I expected him to retire after his health issues last year. I know he was having heart issues, and it was surprised to see him come back. But I know a lot of people were texting me about it. I'll highlight what he did first, and then I'll come back to that. So he was a true legend of U.S. soccer. He's someone who's going to be really, really hard to follow. He was an extreme talent. He was a good leader. In terms of comparing his career to Donovan, I think that Dempsey was clearly the better player and more of a leader to the team. I think Donovan was a little bit more of a prima donna and a little bit of a cancer to the team. I know he was very, very talented, but I just was never sold on him. I think Dempsey is arguably the best outfield player that we've ever produced and proved it through his consistency and longevity. I know Pulisic is going to blow him away over the next couple of years and possibly a couple of other people. But as of right now, you can't doubt the quality that he brought to our team. He became Captain America for us, which is like in 2010 to 2014. He had us believing that hopefully something was going to happen. And yeah, they collapsed late, but he got old and couldn't really carry the team the way that he used to be able to.
Yeah, was he captain during that time period? I think he became captain after 2014. You sure?
No, he was captain in the 2014 World Cup.
Okay. All right. I couldn't remember. I think he was just a very different type of leader. He's not the outgoing kind of charismatic leader that you really think of. Like Bocanegra kind of was that strong personality, good leader on the field. Dempsey kind of showed it through his skill and so on and so forth. Sorry, those were my thoughts there, just really quick. Matt, sorry, I wanted to get your thoughts here.
Yeah, I think he is, top 5 undisputed American ever. I think his legacy, stands for itself. How well he did in the Premier League, and then coming back to the MLS and still showing his skill. He was, for me watching soccer and like growing up in this era, he was probably the best player I saw. I saw like kind of the end of Donovan, and then Dempsey kind of took over. So for me, like personally, like he was my best player I got to watch through my years. And it's tough to see him go. I'm not surprised by it, considering everything that happened last year with not making the World Cup, and his health issues. So I'm not like too surprised by the retirement announcement. And I understand it, and I just thank you for your great career.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised just the timing of it, but it kind of fits with his brand. He's so just like chill and just like not making a big deal about anything. And so I think it just kind of fits with his brand, where he was just like, all right, I'm out in the middle of the season. And, I think his role with Seattle has been diminished this year. They signed Rui Diaz, who's kind of taken over as that center forward, and he doesn't really fit in too much there. And so kind of makes sense that he is retiring. But I mean, he just had a fantastic career coming up through the college system. I think he came from Furman, like kind of not a really big school. He's from like a small place in Texas, and just kind of navigated through U.S. soccer to rise to become one of our best players ever. And, just a testament to his perseverance and all of that, going over to England, becoming a really good player at Fulham, getting a move to Tottenham. Yeah, he was only there for a year, but he still scored, double-digit goals for them that season. Then coming over to Seattle, and he was kind of one of the first players to do that and leave Europe when he was still, quote, close to his prime as an American player who was a big name. And so for him to do all of that, he's a trailblazer. Just the way he played was fantastic. And I don't want to compare him to Donovan or anything like that, but again, inarguably top 5 player in U.S. soccer's history, and just a fantastic career. Christian, anything else you wanted to add? What about that text message?
That's what I was just gonna say. Okay. Yeah, my friend John, who I've mentioned before, texted me after the announcement was made and goes, "How much do you think Donovan paid him to retire?" Because he didn't want to steal that record away. But I mean, I guess it makes sense that both of them kind of share it. They're both the best goal scorers probably in American history. So,
yep. So for those.
What's up?
For those who don't know, both Landon Donovan and Clint Dempsey are tied as the all-time record goal scorer in U.S. soccer history. I believe both have 57 goals. Is that right?
I think it's 57.
57. Okay. Matt, anything else you want to add here?
I also think it's 57.
Thank you for that. All right. Next topic we wanted to talk about, sticking in U.S. soccer, but talking more about lower divisions in U.S. soccer. So The Athletic, which is a really awesome website, I'm a subscriber, so you got to pay to get access to the content, but they're just having tons of awesome soccer content on there. But somebody recently wrote an article. I want to say it was Jeff Reuter. I could be wrong on that. I'll get that, as I go along here. But he wrote an article basically talking about life in the USL, which is the second division in U.S. soccer. And so in that division, there still isn't kind of a standardized form of payment for players. There's not kind of healthcare for all the players and their families. It kind of goes club by club on how clubs treat their players. And so some of these guys are getting paid like $1 a month, and then they play for in-game bonuses. And so if they play a game, that's how they kind of make their money. And so they, other teams only pay the players on an hourly wage. And so they literally have to log in, when they trained, and, there's set requirements on how much time they can actually put in, and that's how they're paid. And so for a second, like, this sounds like it's a semi-professional, like maybe fourth or fifth division type of thing. This is our second division in this country. So Matt, what are your thoughts on USL kind of operating under that mechanism?
It's tough to hear when you learn everything that's going on, but it's not unexpected considering how big they are and like how this country treats them. It's the USL. It's not really covered at all. The MLS even is barely covered. I mean, it's getting bigger and bigger, but it's not the same coverage as any of our other top sports. And like AAA, like the minor league basketball, basketball is one of the biggest sports in this country. Like, you even hear stories about them, and like their payments. And I know that's getting better in recent years, but it doesn't surprise me at all. It's hard to hear when you hear, like how the championship in England, how well, that's respected on a world stage, like from the world soccer perspective, for a second tier, and then coming to the USL and then hearing kind of the stuff that goes on there. It's hard to hear, but it's not something that I'm surprised by.
And USL's stated goal is to be the best second division in the world. And so obviously this is not moving towards that path. But Christian, your thoughts here?
Matt hit the nail on the head in terms of comparing it to other U.S. sports second divisions. They're kind of seen as an afterthought in America, as like in England specifically, but anywhere else in the world, they use their second division in a promotion relegation. Well, not everywhere, but most of the places that we would think of use a promotion relegation system, and they're all integrated. So they have the same type of formatting with their ownerships, paying their players, and kind of it's routine. And obviously there's a big drop off of what you're earning depending on the division that you're in. But it's kind of uniform. You know how you're going to get paid. You know how you're going to be covered with insurance, I assume. I don't really know how insurance works over there, but I think it's pretty uniform, right?
Well, yeah. Well, I think because they're socialists.
Is everybody
I think,
covered? Actually,
yeah, I would imagine so, especially at the second division level.
Yeah, but here, obviously, that doesn't happen. It's not socialist. It's capitalist country over here. So, there's a little econ for you guys, as Matt would say.
Yeah, that's an econ major.
Yeah, so I just find it to be absolutely ridiculous. I think that if you're playing in the second division, you are integrated with MLS a little bit. You are integrated with U.S. soccer. You're at too high of a level at that point, and I know that it's not seen that way here, but you're playing soccer all the time. And again, that is your job right now, and you need to have coverage for your families. Specifically, that's the part I'm focusing on. I know that the payment issue is a whole other issue. Like, not to know where your money's coming from if you were moved to team is kind of crazy. You don't know how you're going to get paid. But
even if you're not even moving team to team. Oh, yeah. No, okay. Sorry. Never mind.
I meant like the dollar versus, yeah. That's a little bit nerve-wracking, I'm sure, for a lot of people who are married, who have kids, because you don't know what's going to happen if you have to move. And in the world of sports, you don't know if you're going to have a job tomorrow. Like, people could terminate your contract. You could be sold. You could be transferred. I can't believe that that's the way that it works in the USL.
Yeah. So for me, I think that MLS went through something similar. Up until maybe 5, 10 years ago, the minimum salary in MLS was like $12,500, which is absurd to think about. Now it's up in the 50s, which still isn't that much. And I talk about this all the time. In order for players to get better and for the league to be seen as, more respected and so on and so forth, like the floor needs to be set so much higher. And I get that USL is a developmental league, but it's still the second division. So it shouldn't be incredibly developmental. And what I'm saying here is that when a player needs to worry about working a second job or needs to focus on how to just live and survive rather than taking care of their body and maximizing it and maximizing their profession, like their game is going to suffer, their development is going to suffer. And if they are truly a developmental league, they need to set floors so players don't have to worry about these things. It doesn't have to be $100,000 or something like that, but it needs to be at least $40,000, $50,000 in my opinion for these players to at least, hey, I don't have to worry about this and I can focus on my career and development. And so that's kind of where I stand on all of this. It was pretty shocking to read. Again, I would expect this to happen maybe at the NPSL level, which is fourth division. And this is just sad. And in fairness to the NASL, which was the old second league, which unfortunately, went bankrupt, or I can't remember exactly how they folded, but they're in a tough time. They paid players much better. They had players on healthcare. Like they did things a little bit better. Now, from a business side, NASL did things very poorly in a lot of other ways, but they at least took care of their players, and USL needs to step up and do that, in my opinion. Matt, anything else you wanted to add?
No.
Okay, not on this. Christian, anything else you wanted to add?
So USL, is that the same league that Bethlehem's in, or no?
Yep.
Is that a different? It is, right? So if you're affiliated with another team in MLS, is it not part of the same ownership group where they would pay you?
No, so Red Bulls pays them, but in the article they specifically highlight Red Bull. Red Bull pays players in USL hourly, so they need to log their hours in a spreadsheet, and they have like game is like officially 2 hours. If they have training, it's an hour and a half, and then if they stay for weightlifting, it can be 30 more minutes. And so, but they need to
game is only 2 hours, even if they're.
I could be wrong. It could be 3. I don't remember from the article. But it's
for like game day, like you're there for much longer.
Like it is your whole day. It's not like you go do something else.
Yeah, like, I know.
And is this why a lot of them are focused on? Oh God, am I going to have to get a second job? You're going to have to force. Like it puts them in a position where they can't fully focus on their job. They have to focus on other things and make sure that their families are okay, or even if they are okay, if they're single.
Absolutely. So I just pulled it up here.
Joe on here and ask him.
Yeah. So well, Joe, in the article, we have a friend who plays in the USL, and in the article it did say Phoenix is one of the teams that treats its players very well, and that's who he plays
probably
for.
Because Drogba owns.
Well, yeah, that's probably. But real quick, just to circle back, 3 hours on a training day is what they log. They can put in an extra half hour if they did strength training, and then 4 hours for a game. So that's what it was. But,
okay,
but
that makes more sense. But that's still not a lot.
Yeah, they only work 40 hours for 2 weeks. So, I mean, just thinking about that is not a lot, especially if you're trying to make a career out of this and not have kind of a side job. So, Stephen Brand, who's joined us on YouTube, says U.S. Soccer only cares about itself. I think a lot of things that they do kind of point towards that. So that's I think a valid point. I think that they could do a lot more for the players and all of that. Christian, anything else you wanted to add here?
Nope.
All right, Matt has already said no, so you're going to hear a little bit more music, one more partner announcement, and then we'll be back with our third segment. All right, Steven, thank you for joining. Can we terminate Ted Vesterfeld? Yeah, I know. The ProRel Twitter, Steven, just addressing that can just be, it's suffocating sometimes, and it's like it just destroys all kinds of legit ProRel discussions. And I have been someone who's been pretty... not anti-pro-rel, but I didn't think it was a requirement.
Adamantly against.
No, I'm not adamantly against. I just don't think it's necessary the way that everybody else seems to think it's necessary. Not everybody, but the way a lot of other people seems to think it's absolutely necessary for soccer to grow and thrive. But we need to have something, because the whole Columbus move is a direct result of pro-rel not being here. These players not being treated well, I think, is a result of pro-rel not being here. If they had to go up a division, like I think teams would be treating their players a lot better. And so it's all kind of interconnected. And I'm definitely warming more and more to the idea that we need to have some sort of pro rel.
Because if sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but just to add on to what you're saying, if a team was relegated, their team would still have their fans from when they were in MLS. So they would be demanding that there's TV coverage and people would want to pay attention. So it would grow that way.
You think Philadelphia, like if we went down?
I'm telling you, there are people who would still follow it pretty close. Like there are lots of people who would.
But we don't have we
ahead,
don't
Matt.
have that great of an attendance now. Like,
well, we do now that we're good again.
Yeah, we don't need bro rel.
If we go down, a city of what 1.5 million people, we can't fill.
Exactly. Like that's the thing. So you need to have committed ownership groups, but also like I think the SPL, so the Scottish Premier League, I'm researching for the Soccer Tavern a video about Inverness Caledonian Thistle, and they have like 40. They have teams elected to their pro rel system, and so like it's not completely wide open the way that it is in England. They need to be elected to it, and then you can rise up and down the divisions and so on and so forth. I think something like that would be good for U.S. soccer if it's 100 to 200 teams or something like that.
They don't have 20 teams in Scotland, right? It's only like 12.
Not the top division. I think it might be more than 12. I could be wrong, but
14. I just picked that kind of number out of my ass. It's not 20 though.
No, I don't. It's definitely not 20, and they only have 40 in their whole sort of like professional system. Oh no, you were right. It is 12. Yeah, you're right, Matt. So 12. Good job picking that out of your ass.
I used to pick Rangers in like my 08 career mode.
On FIFA?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let me give a quick plug for our partner, FNX Network, a new partner. Hey, everybody. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing there. How do I start this?
What was that?
I don't know. I don't know. All right, whatever. I'm just gonna say what's going on again. I don't know. How do you want me to start this?
No, I would say just say hey.
Don't even hey.
Dave here again to give another plug for.
No, just say so.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Dave here again to let you know about a new partnership we have at Bros Talking Soccer with FNX.network. FNX.network is a website that has stories and podcasts about all different kinds of content. They have sports, they have entertainment, video games, lifestyle, tech, and more. You want to go check out our stuff on there as well as tons of other awesome content. Again, it's on FNX.network, not FNX.com. FNX.network to check out all of that stuff, including ours. Please go check it out.
Where does FNX.com take you?
FNX.com, I think, was like I think they have like a sports agency that they manage. And so I think that's where it took me. Because I was really confused when I was trying to like decide if we should join them or not.
Oh, I remember this. These are the Australians.
Yeah, these are the Australian guys. And the one guy's in the UK. I think the guy that manages the sports, his name's Stel. He's in the UK. And they try to meet up with him. Yeah. Okay. So our last section here is we have a ton of listener questions. So, we'll run through them. All right.
I am so ready, Dave.
Okay. So first one's Champions League
draw. Let's get this going.
I like the listener question.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Hold on. Let me pull up stuff so I have the groups up.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually probably a pretty good idea. Let me know when you're good. And I can keep this thing rolling. Matt, you look exceptionally prepared for this.
Yeah, let me just go through my notes here.
Welcome back, everyone, to our third and final segment. This one is a listener question extravaganza. We had a ton of listener questions this week, which was awesome. Thank you, everybody that sent in questions, and we will just jump right into them. So first one comes from @Maholkar Ameya. He said, can you please discuss the Champions League draw? So, Christian, your thoughts on the Champions League draw?
Oh, okay. So as a Liverpool fan, I'm a little bit scared, but I'm also not scared because we're going to have to face big teams anyway, and this will make us wake up immediately. I really like the draw. I think a lot of groups are going to be really interesting to how they play out. I feel like in the past we've seen Champions League draws where there's like one or two tough groups. I feel like a lot of groups this time are really, really close. specifically A, B, and C, I think are really difficult groups to call. I know Atletico Madrid probably should win Group A, but Dortmund and Monaco are very talented teams in competitive leagues. So it'll be interesting to see how they rise up and challenge. Group B, Barcelona, Inter, Tottenham. Wow. Firepower in there. That's going to be
PSV.
really fun to watch. What? And PSV are no joke. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I assume they're going to finish last just based off of the teams that are in there, but that's unfortunate for them. They are a very good squad, and unfortunately, they have to play against one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the world in Barcelona and Inter, who are hugely on the rise and look like they have an impressive roster, and then Tottenham, who, I mean, they're Tottenham, so I guess they're going to be competitive. Who knows? Then finally, Group C is the one I think a lot of people are looking forward to seeing. It's Liverpool, PSG, and Napoli all in the same group with who is it? Red Star Belgrade.
Yeah,
I
Red
know
Star.
there's a different name for them, but
Zvezda.
yeah, that's the one right there. I would not have been able to pronounce that even close to as you did. So good job, Dave. That one is just attack. I think this is the best suited game for Liverpool because they don't have to sit back, but we have learned that they are able to sit back now, and it's just going to be really fun to watch all of those teams. They are all attacking oriented, and it'll be fun to watch. I think Napoli's taken a slight step back this year in terms of losing Jorginho and losing their manager. Sorry. But we're going to see. Group D is a little bit of a joke. We're going to skip right over that one. I can't believe that is a group in the Champions League. All right. I'm getting the work here.
Well, no, let's
skip,
just let's get Matt's thoughts here too. We don't need to go through every single individual group.
All right, Matt,
here.
why don't you go E to H here, and then we could skip over Dave. We don't have to listen to him.
All right, I'm just gonna go like quick views. All right, so like Christian mentioned, like the three of the like A through D, those groups seem like really competitive. I think Liverpool's group. I mean, as a City fan, that's great, and the way their schedule's working out, it's like they're being challenged very early in the season. And Man City, their group with Lyon, Hoffenheim, and
Shakhtar,
yeah, Donetsk. I mean, it's probably the best draw City's had in the Champions League since we've been in it. We've been in 9 straight years? Or something like that?
I don't know. You're the City fan.
Must be 8.
Yeah, something like that. I know we're the longest running English club in the Champions League.
No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. But yeah, we finally have a good draw. So as a City fan, it's looking good. Liverpool, they have a tough schedule for September and October. So, I mean, that's good to see. United, their group with Valencia, Young Boys, and
Juve.
Help me. Juve.
Help me.
Yeah. So I think United, on paper they should get through, but with everything that's going on in the media and the personalities of that club, you never know. But I still think they should be able to get through. That's my thoughts on that group. Dave, over to you.
Awesome. No, so I don't really have too much else to add. I mean, we kind of breezed over Group E, Bayern, Benfica, Ajax, and AEK Athens. Bayern should be the strong favorite, and it'll be interesting to see which of those other 3 clubs comes out of that group. And then Group G, Real, Roma, CSKA Moskva, which is CSK Moscow, and Victoria Pilsen, Roma, and Real should be the strong ones to come out of it. And Group D, I know everybody is talking smack on that, but that group is just wide open, so any of those 4 could come out of there. So it'll be interesting to follow all of that. Sticking on the Champions League front, we got a question from our friends at the Lads podcast. Is Liverpool doomed in Group C with their tough September-October schedule? Combining Premier League and Champions League. Will they switch their main focus to the Premier League based on their tough Champions League group? Christian, you're the Liverpool fan. Thoughts?
Their focus is on the league, in my opinion. I think it is before that draw was even made. I think this is the year they want to push for the Premier League, but I think they have the depth. You look at their bench, you look at some players who even aren't on the bench this year, and they're players who can walk in and start on any given day. So they have the depth now. I think that Liverpool are not doomed. I think that they will get through the group. And I think they'll come in second place. I think PSG will eventually win the group, but I think they will be fine. It'll be challenging, but it's going to test their depth, and we'll see how good they are by October.
Matt, any thoughts you want to add here?
Yeah, I don't think those games, especially with I think the PSG game's right after the Tottenham game, right?
Napoli.
And the
Napoli.
I thought Napoli was right before the City game.
No, Napoli. No. Napoli's the first match day.
Okay. Okay, so I think like those games are too tough to half-ass and kind of throw your backups out there. I don't think they're screwed. I just think it's a challenge left to face. But I don't think with like their schedule, I don't think they're screwed. But I think they have a couple losses, maybe one or two in those games. But I think they'll still be all right. It's still early in the season. They have a lot of time to make up ground. So I don't think it's them ruining their season in September and October.
Yeah, on top of it, just on that point, it's still early in the season, so a lot of the players are still fresh. And, at that level, just the sports science and all the medical stuff and recovery and all those things that are being done. I watched the Man City documentary, and it was just fascinating seeing all the things that they do to get those players ready. So I think it's actually beneficial that this is happening kind of earlier in the season. So, yeah.
I think the majority of Liverpool players actually weren't at the World Cup or went out pretty early. So other than the English and Brazilian players, not many are remaining there.
Fair enough. All right. Next question comes from @G_Koto_R11. Thoughts on Real Madrid sweeping the UEFA awards? Will Mo Salah put the curse of Tutankhamen on Ramos, and who should win the Ballon d'Or? So I know there were a couple things in there. Thoughts on Real Madrid sweeping the UEFA awards, Matt?
I didn't love it. Just because they won doesn't mean they were specifically like the best players. I also didn't love Modric winning UEFA Player of the Year when Ronaldo just had that crazy Champions League campaign. I think he pretty much deserved it, and I think they let the World Cup kind of sway their view of Modric. But that's just my thoughts on it.
Christian, thoughts?
I mean, Real Madrid won the competition, so I'm not really surprised that they swept all the awards. I think that there were better players, but they performed when they needed to in the final, and they won it. So I'm not surprised. Do I think they should have? No.
Yeah.
So do you want to highlight, or we're just doing one at a time, one of these questions at a time?
Sure. Yeah. So I just on that thought, I find it annoying and kind of lazy now that it comes down to who wins, and then like that's just who gets the trophies. Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of laziness rather than really kind of more deeply evaluating players. But that's just where I stand. Will Mo put the curse on Ramos? That's a funny question. We can sort of gloss over it unless you have something you really want to say. Christian?
I hope so.
Yeah. Okay. And then who should win the Ballon d'Or, Matt?
This is such a tough question. Because there's still a couple months left. I would have said De Bruyne, but he's out for 2 months this year, 2 to 3 months, so not him. I think he had that good of a season last year. Ronaldo at this point, just because he freaking won Champions League, I guess is just going to have it handed to him.
Christian, thoughts?
Who I think should win it is Messi again because he's the best player, but who I think will win it is Ronaldo. I think he won the biggest tournament and performed when he needed to, even though he didn't have a good World Cup. He had a good first game. After that, he didn't really perform that well. I wouldn't be surprised if Modric won it either, but I think Ronaldo will.
Yeah, I just want to shout out Varane. I think he was so key to Real Madrid and France winning those tournaments that they won, and so I think he is a legit shout. But I've really stuttered over that one. Legit shout, but there's no way a defender's ever going to win this award. I think it's going to be Ronaldo, and Messi is still the best player, most talented player in the world. So there's that. Next question at KerC17. He asked us this last week, but just circling it in now because the U.S. men's national team roster was announced. Guys, thoughts on the roster for the friendlies against Brazil and Mexico? Christian, do you want to start? Or
Sure.
Matt,
sorry,
I lost
the thing I had.
Yeah. So I think this is as good of a lineup, minus Pulisic not being there, as we're going to have going forward. I like a lot of the picks we have. Not a lot of returning players. This is a very forward going mindset. I love the center backs. There was one defender that was completely new to me.
Was it
Aaron
Shaq?
Long. Aaron
Shaq?
Long.
Yeah, Aaron Long.
Yeah.
The Red Bulls center back.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, he was the only one I didn't know, but the rest of them, I like the outside backs. I like the assuming starting backs that we've brought in. I think it's a lot of youth, and I'm excited to see where this kind of crew of guys takes us.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know if this is necessarily the strongest. I don't really love our forward line, but I know Wayo was listed as a midfielder, but I think the forward line could definitely have some more talented players in there. And I got a couple others, but Christian, yeah, Josie is still the best or second best forward that we have, so I think he has a shout to be there.
For me, I don't want to see anybody that was really there. Zardes, going forward, especially in friendly, I don't want to see those guys.
He's on the.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Christian, your thoughts here?
I can tell you for damn sure that I'm very happy Omar Gonzalez is not on this list. I think that I never want to see his stupid face again. One player I'm really excited to see is Zach Steffen. I think that it's his time to finally shine, and he's going to be the goalkeeper for the long haul unless someone really breaks through up and coming that I don't really know about. He seems to be the goalkeeper for the future. John Brooks, not surprised he's back in the lineups here. He's the only center back who really has the experience with the U.S. at the back, long term at least. So it's nice to have him back there, and he'll be partnered by someone who's young. I don't know which one of them will be partnering with him, but it's nice to see that we have a good core group coming through here a little bit with Cameron Carter-Vickers, Miazga, and those types of players. Shaq Moore is somebody who I have wanted to see. I don't know how well he's going to look out there. I know he hasn't been playing particularly well with his club team, but he did get called in, and I guess we'll see. I think Robinson still starts on the left. Yedlin back on the right makes sense. Midfield is a little bit odd to me, but I guess that's what we're going with now. We're going with youth, and Tyler Adams, McKinney are starting center mids, I guess, now, and everyone else is kind of around them. I guess Julian Green's back. I know he was back last time we played, but I guess he's back permanently, it seems. And Tim Weah is probably our most talented player I think we have in this roster. It's going to be interesting to see how he can lift the team around him because there's no Pulisic this time around. And typical forwards, not really excited to see them.
For me, Alex Bono at goalkeeper was an interesting selection. I know he's young, but he hasn't really had the greatest season with Toronto and actually was just benched for their most recent game. So it was a little interesting to see him called in. I don't know. I don't have somebody really top of mind to call in over him, but Steffen should get the start in both these matches, in my opinion. Additionally, I actually wasn't thrilled with seeing Shaq Moore. He's in the third or fourth division in La Liga. He's not really doing incredibly well. And this might be a homer pick, but I think Rosenberry deserved another shot with the national team. He's been playing exceptionally well for the Philadelphia Union. I think he's one of the best American outside backs or right backs in the league. And I think he deserved a shout. Christian deserved a look.
Sorry, I was just going to, I think Keegan does deserve a look, but is Fafa American? He is, right?
Yeah, he's American.
It surprises me that he's never selected either.
Yeah, but he's 28, 29 at this point. I think he's later in his career.
But he's been playing outstanding this seaon. The fact that he's not called in at least once is a little surprising.
Yeah, but in these friendlies, maybe if it was an official competition, there's a bigger issue here. But for me, I'm fine with not calling in Fafa. Also, I don't know about Rosenberry's speed at the international level. That would be my only slight concern, but I think he reads the game exceptionally well and all of that. So that was kind of the only player, and I already mentioned the forwards. Next question from @GameDayTourist. Thoughts on Tottenham's proposal to play their EFL League Cup tie against Watford in Milton Keynes, which is a 54-mile drive from White Hart Lane. Matt, thoughts on Tottenham playing, basically 54 miles away from home?
Why would they do this?
Because their new White Hart Lane is not available.
Oh. Wait, still? When does that open?
Mid-October.
Hopefully.
Okay,
and they're still not certain of that.
Okay.
Well, it was supposed to be for the Liverpool match.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, so for the drive, I don't think it makes much sense. I don't know why. Are they not allowed to rent Wembley again, or is it just expensive?
I don't know. So I don't know the full backstory behind this, but yeah, I'm with you. I think they should have found somewhere closer, right?
Yeah. So for me, it doesn't make much sense, but I don't know like the behind the scenes stuff. I think they should get something closer to London, but I don't know everything about it. So that's my only 2 cents about it.
Christian, thoughts here?
I mean, I'm sorry, but if you don't have your stadium ready, then it should be at the other person's stadium. Like, I think it's that simple. And I know that they got the draw at home, but you're not ready to host it. So, sorry.
Actually, that's a really good point. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, I mean, that seems to be probably most fair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Yeah, that's really interesting. Didn't even cross my mind, but yeah,
I'm
I think
here
I'm
for
in a
insight, guys.
yeah, that's a really good point. So I'm with Christian on that one. Last question from at Free Kick Pod is can you guys discuss if West Ham don't start winning games, does Pellegrini get the sack? He's torn on this issue, and I would love to hear your thoughts. I don't think draws are good enough, and the board is going to feel like they need wins with the money they spend. Christian, thoughts on West Ham and if they should sack or if they're going to sack Pellegrini?
Well, if he doesn't win any games, for sure he's going to get sacked. But I don't know. Like, I don't know how long it's going to take. I think he's pretty safe right now. It's practically a new team, and they put a lot of money into it, and he is a good manager. But I don't really think that they're the easiest start to the season here. I know they lost 2 home games against not that competitive sides. But this is the Premier League. Anything can happen. And I think he has to have time to gel the team. I think that he gets at least until the winter to turn things around, barring like a 10-game losing streak here. I think that he's going to be fine. I do not think that he will be fired unless that happens.
Matt, thoughts on Pellegrini?
So I think he should get an extended, period of time here. But if they start out 0-1-6, I think he's very much on the hot seat. If they have because they're 0-4 right now, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so, if you have 1 point through 7 matches for a club like West Ham, who on paper should be, relatively good, they're a huge London club. They have a Premier League winning manager. I think 7 games, 1 point, they should really, I think he's going to be on the hot seat. Like, it could be over then for him.
Yeah, and that's a legit possibility because I just brought up their schedule. They're at Everton next, then they're hosting Chelsea, then they're hosting Man United. So they could.
Well, there's 3 points.
Yeah, they could, and then they're at Brighton, and then they're hosting Tottenham. So yeah, it's a rough start. Not getting any points against Bournemouth and Wolves is going to be really tough for them. I'm with you guys. I think coaches need to be given a longer leash and time to fix their mistakes. But this is the Premier League, and managers are fired very, very quickly. Christian, anything else you want to add here?
Nope.
Matt?
Nope.
Before we get to our trivia question, I wanted to give 2 quick plugs. So I am the founder of FanFutsal, which is a simplified fantasy soccer website, fanfutsal.com. We have games featuring all of the major European leagues, as well as the 2 major North American leagues. We have you select 5 clubs instead of 8 to 11 individual players for your teams. Our scoring is simplified, but we still have strategy and lineup differentiation by having positions and formation. So it's a really cool, interesting, different way to play fantasy soccer. Please check it out. Also, I have a YouTube channel called The Soccer Tavern, where I make videos about the history, culture, and philosophy of the beautiful game. We have all different kinds of videos on there. Terminology videos. Just recently did a video about why it's called a Rabona. History videos about national teams, as well as Premier League club history videos. I'm currently researching a couple other teams. I'm researching Inverness Caledonian Thistle, which is a Scottish team. Somebody specifically requested that. And so we have all different kinds of content on the Soccer Tavern YouTube channel. So please go check that out. We have that linked in the podcast description and video show notes. Christian, do you want to recap our trivia question and we'll give our guesses?
I would love to. Trivia question this week was, which Premier League team has the least expensive ticket offered for any match day, and which team has the most expensive ticket for any match day?
Okay, I have my guesses. Matt, do you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I can go first. Most expensive, I want to say Arsenal because of the nice stadium in London. And then least expensive, I wanted to say Fulham, but I think I'm going to go Cardiff because I don't know the area.
Okay, so I'm going to say Arsenal for most expensive as well, and I'm going to say Burnley for the least expensive.
Good guesses. So you both were right about the most expensive. I'll do this first. I'll give you the top 3 most expensive. Arsenal, Tottenham, and Chelsea. The 3 biggest teams in London have the most expensive. I know, big shock of the year there. The least expensive ticket, which is pretty funny here, is you can get a £9 ticket to a Liverpool game in their new stand up at the top. They are the cheapest tickets that you can get. The second least expensive is Wolves at £22 per ticket. And third is tied between Cardiff and West Ham at 25.
All right, good on West Ham for being a London club, but still having tickets cheaper. With that, that brings us to the end of the podcast. Listeners, thank you so much for being here and joining us. If you like what you hear, please consider leaving us a review on your podcasting platform of choice. That really helps us out, and that would just mean a lot to us. If you want to get in contact with us, our Twitter handle is @BTSoccerPod. If you want to send us an email, our email is bros.talking.soccer@gmail.com. Also, please check out our website, brostalkingsoccerpodcast.com. You can read about us, check out past episodes, and visit our store. So if you are buying anything on Amazon, if you go to our website, click on the store link, and just click on the link that takes you to Amazon, it's no additional cost to you, but we get a small percentage of whatever you buy, and it helps support the show. It really means a lot to us. We had some people who bought some stuff recently, and again, that was just really, really awesome to have. And again, we would just really, really appreciate that. So thank you so much for being here.
Dave was blushing and smiling like a little girl, telling us about it.
I was just sobbing tears of joy. So yeah, thank you. Christian, thanks for being here and talking with me this week.
Dave, it was just my pleasure. Thank you for having me at Dave's podcast.
Yes. Thank you for joining my podcast. I appreciate it. Thank you for being a guest, Matt. Thank you for being a guest as well.
Oh, wow. Thanks for having me. Anytime you want me on your show, just let me know.
All right. I appreciate it, guys. Listeners, thanks for being here, and we will talk to you next week. See you, everybody. People of YouTube, thank you. Just see another viewer popped in. We are just wrapping up here. Sorry about that, but thanks for joining.
Sorry.
Yeah,
any questions about soccer?
Yeah, do you have any questions about soccer? Oh, we just got 2 new viewers. We were just wrapping up. SPL is like watching.
Yeah, anything you want for us? What?
No, we have 2 questions. Oh, Michael Ward and Steven. So both these guys have been here before. Hey guys, SPL is like watching NPSL. Celtic is the best. Scottish Premier League soccer. I can't say that I've ever actually watched it. So I got to imagine it's not the greatest. So yeah. I think
they throw in some hard tackles there. I've seen on Twitter.
Yes,
it's kind of funny.
I believe it. So it seems like you guys follow it, or at least have a little bit. I mean, do you think Rangers is going to be able to push Celtic this year? So let us know in the comments.
Well, obviously, they look at their manager; he's the greatest of all time.
And they have a bunch of Liverpool players on loan.
I saw one of the Rangers center backs slip, and Twitter had a field day.
Oh God.
Oh yeah. I can imagine that. Yeah, I'm sure they were very forgiving or whatever. I'm just pulling it up. So Hearts is actually top of the table right now. So Hearts, Celtic, Kilmarnock, Livingston, St. Johnstone, Hibs, and then Rangers is 7th. So they're not off to a great start. Okay, so that's my knowledge of Scottish soccer. With that, what do you think about the old?
As you just found out, there's my knowledge. That I just discovered.
Yeah, Michael Ward, the Old Firm. I mean, hopefully that rivalry comes back. So Michael asked, "What do you think about the Old Firm?" I mean, that rivalry is pretty intense. It's wild, and hopefully I'll make a video about it on the Soccer Tavern sometime soon. But it is, it's just really, really intense. Guys, any thoughts on the Old Firm derby?
I think it's an awesome game, and I'm really excited for this year because it's a Liverpool captain with his manager while he was there. It's going to be interesting, the tactical battle we see. But Celtic are clearly a better team as of right now.
Yeah, and I know Matt, thoughts?
Yeah, I think in the coming years it's going to be better than it will be this year.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I know neither of Rangers or Celtic have won 10 titles in a row, and Celtic's currently on 7 titles. It'll be interesting to see if they can win the next 3 and then, get that record.
What other Scottish teams have like won?
I think Aberdeen had some success back in the day, but I don't know enough about the Scottish league.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where you were at. Which game today, Michael? Did Celtic? I'm not sure who played today. There wasn't a derby. Oh, there was a derby today. Oh, Celtic played Rangers today. I think he was asking about the match today. So sorry about that. We're piecing this together as we go along here. So we didn't see the match, but I'm sure it was intense. It looks
we have no thoughts. If we're gonna be honest with you, there.
Hey, I'm gonna try to bullshit my way through this.
Yeah. Hey, Mike. We have no thoughts.
Yes, we have no thoughts there. Thank you, Matt, for calling us.
Messi had 2 goals and 2 assists in an 8-2 win today. Just
8-2
for Rangers.
Suarez. Yeah, it's crazy. And Suarez took the 93rd minute penalty when Messi gave it to him.
Messi had a great game for Rangers.
Yeah, Messi and Suarez both were fantastic today.
All right,
yeah, so Celtic dominated today. That's what all the fans want. 10 in a row.
Score.
Yeah, so 10 in a row. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if they can get that. I mean, the way that things are trending right now, I mean, Rangers is going to have to pump in a ton of investment to really stop them from getting it, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. So, I mean, if I was a betting man,
it was 1-0.
Yes, it was 1-0. Yeah, Michael's giving us the rundown here. You hit the bar 4 times, 70% possession for Celtic. They apparently just dominated them. Awesome. Yeah, so good stuff there. I was just trying to pull up. I think I had. All right, so Michael, thank you for joining us here at the end. Hopefully, we'll see you again next week, guys. Anything else you wanted to add here?
Nope. I'm excited about the Eagles starting this week.
Okay. Matt?
What?
Is there anything you would like to add?
I said no. You asked me that like a minute ago.
Okay. All right. Yeah, but okay. All right. Thank you for being here. Of course. Yeah. So Michael, I don't know if you were here when I said it. I'm currently researching. Somebody on the Soccer Tavern asked me to make a video about Inverness Caledonian Thistle. So that video should be coming out within the next few weeks. And, you know, I'm always down to get suggestions on which videos I should make. So if you have any about Scottish football that you want me to make, let me know. All right. I think you have our Twitter and whatnot. Okay.
If not, listen to the podcast. They'll tell you what it is.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah, guys, thanks for being here. People of YouTube, thanks for tuning in. And
Matt's smashing glasses.
Yeah, Matt's breaking bottles. He's feeling good. And
so mad Rangers lost.
We'll talk to you soon. See everybody.